This is the Ask Faleskini podcast, where the modern economy is discussed from a skeptic's perspective. Mr. Faleskini helps you distinguish what is sustainable in our economy and what isn't. Not everything that glitters is gold, and not all mud is dirty. The podcaster Mr. Faleskini provides no-nonsense advice. He had it all, lost it all, went bankrupt multiple times, and is now attempting to come back from zero with sustainable growth. There are numerous coaches and preachers on the internet that preach about positive thinking and how life is all roses if you just care to see it that way. Well, Mr. Faleskini is definitely not one of them. We recommend you ask Faleskini to keep it real. He discusses the darker side of the current economic reality, the side that's more important for your personal and business finance. His first intention is to help you keep what you already have. Not to be a complete party pooper, Mr. Faleskini will also hint at the earning opportunities in the economy today. In order to please the almighty algorithm, please like, share, and subscribe. And now it's time to start taking notes. The mic goes to the podcaster, the one and only Mr. Faleskini.
Welcome to this episode about transparency in business. Due to increased complexity in the business environment, more and more businesses fail. Most businesses are financed by entrepreneurs, friends, and families. A small percentage of businesses is financed by outside investors that do not fall into the three before-mentioned categories. And when businesses that outside investors financed fail, one of the remorse of the investors is that they did not have enough information about the business, since if they would have all the info, they wouldn't invest. Most investors' logical conclusion is that every business should make full disclosure to the extent that the business should be fully transparent. A lot of technical jobs pay really good salaries, and as a consequence, a lot of technical people invest their savings. And these technical people have often problems with understanding transparency in business. However, in business, full transparency means disclosing only some of the data. In business, full transparency means disclosing the data that are needed to make educated decisions, regardless if you are purchasing a product or if you're investing in the company. In physics, most glass will enable you to see through, but will not let ultraviolet rays pass. If we use a quote from Simon Sinek, transparency does not mean sharing every detail. Transparency means providing the context for the decision that we make. In case you're wondering why shouldn't business disclose everything, here are the disadvantages of sharing everything. Absolute transparency can harm business in the following cases. Transparency is bad for intellectual property right, because if you disclose how you're doing things and what are you using, then every competitor could use this same intellectual property. Transparency is also harmful for proprietary business practices. If you're doing things in a certain way and you get a competitive edge, if you would disclose how you are getting the competitive edge, competitors could use the same technique and follow the same procedures. If businesses would be forced to disclose all the clients, the competitors could easily target them. And if you disclose a lot of information about the business, competitors are able to compare to your business and find a way to improve or even one-up your business. One of the important elements of business is identifying opportunities and taking advantage of them. And these opportunities come from the uneven distribution of information. Financial disclosures are the best source of info for criminals, so they know whom to target. For example, if it is disclosed that the CEO of a certain company made 10 million last year, the criminals know that there is something to steal, or they can push him or her to transfer the money to their account. Ownership disclosures is also very problematic. If you know that someone owns 10% of $1 billion company, you know that he has 100 million of assets. I'm in favor of public companies being forced to disclose some data. However, I'm not fan of private companies being forced to disclose data, nor who is a shareholder or their financial statements. Public disclosures in private companies are a bit of oxymoron. Private companies are private not just due to not trading shares on public market, but also due to not disclosing information about the business. So next time, when you hear about transparency in business, you will know that transparency in business is different than transparency in physics. Transparency in business means only to disclose information that are needed for educated decision about the subject, regardless if this is a purchase decision or a purchase of share decision. So you know that full transparency of business is bad for business and bad for society. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Faleskini, for this outstanding podcast. And thank you for listening to the Ask Faleskini podcast until the end. Mr. Faleskini would love to hear your feedback in the comments. And don't forget, if you want to know, ask Faleskini or listen to the Ask Faleskini podcast. In order to please the almighty algorithm, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.